Let's see, the most powerful manifesting hack. Do you guys want to know what is the most powerful manifesting hack? Happy 2022 for everybody here. You know, I want to say this though. You know, when it comes to people who are awake, or I mean, if you're finding this live, you're tuning into this live, then you're definitely in alignment here, because there's no such thing as coincidence when it comes to the universe and people. When people come together, or people resonate with certain information or certain things, it's not a coincidence. It's more of an alignment here. And for example, this year I like to call it the cycle. 2022, this cycle is going to be very, very powerful. It's going to be a lot of breakthroughs for a lot of you guys here in 2022. Basically, the stuff that has been keeping you stuck, the things that you couldn't get over, the ideas, the things you want, all these things. This cycle is going to be the breakthrough for you. And it all has to do with the energy of the twos. You see, no time in history or this era that that you've been born, you won't see this again for another 2,000 years. Is how these numbers lined up. So we have 2022, and the twos are all about growth and expansion, reaping what you've planted. Like, that's what the twos represent, right? So think about that. You have 3 twos. So that means the vibration alone of the twos are going to help you along with what you've been doing. So you're going to have this extra boost for this next cycle to really excel at delivering your dreams and everything. Hello, how you doing? I'm wearing my lucky bracelet. That's good. But I want to show you something even more powerful, though. It's actually not 2022. It's actually 2222. Because you see, the thing about the 0 is the 0 represents neutrality, and the 0 also represents change and new beginning. The 0 is actually the same as the 2. So that's why I consider the 0 another 2. So the 0 actually will have the vibrational alignment of 2. So you're going to have, this year is actually 2222 on a vibrational level, though. That's what I'm talking about. That is extremely powerful. You know, if it was 2122, yeah, but just because of the 0 cancels that out, and the 0 has the same implication as 0 means new beginning, things being manifested, right? Expansion, growth. 0 is a mirror of the 2. I don't know if you knew that. And also 2 is a master number. 22 is a master number. 222. 2 is a very powerful number. So you have quadruple 2s this year, this cycle. So that means a lot of you are gonna fly and get good stuff. So like, what are some of the stuff you're going to be seeing? Like, some of you guys are going to start to just get ideas, and things are just going to start to clear up for you in your mind consciously. You're just going to see a lot of breakthroughs, like things that you used to struggle with, things you're trying to think about. They're just going to flow, man. You're just going to be like, whoa, that didn't happen last year. What's going on? It's because of the power of the 2. You know, mathematics, numbers, they carry very powerful vibration. I mean, you know, you guys should know that everything vibrates. I mean, the universe is a fractal. It's numbers, it's mathematics, it's geometric patterns, it's geometry, it's patterns. Everything's fractal. It's big one mathematical equation, and these equations, they carry a certain frequencies. You know, frequencies go on hertz, right? And these frequencies, based on the level they oscillate, they create things, they affect us, right? And numbers do that. Yes, somebody says that. Who's this here? David Coons. Yes, actually that's correct. Numbers have consciousness because they're able to decode. I mean, you are numbers. You are mathematics. You and I, every one of us, we're information. When you break information down, it's just binary, zeros and ones. That's what we are, actually. Break everything down to our core component. We go beyond the atom. We go into the strings. Now we have to describe that through mathematics. So you are a number. You are an equation. I'm an equation. You're an equation. And based on the equation, when the equation has harmony, that's when you can manifest stuff. So when we're in a cycle, such as 2222, it's going to be a great breakthrough, right? Can you manifest somebody changing their thoughts? You can. Why are we here? That's a great question here. So I'll ask you guys. Maybe you guys can fill it in. Why are we here? I have my beliefs and I have my experience, and I'll share that with you. But I'd like to get some of your takes. So why are we here? Let's see. Can anyone explain to me why we are here? There's so many theories about this. And I'll share my belief with you why we're here based on my experience. But someone says it's a test. That's why we're here. What else? Why you're here? Well, I believe we're here to manipulate energy and create in the 3D. Yep. I think that's who said that? Dolores Cannon said that, right? So my experience. So I'm going to share my experience why we're here, and this is my personal experience. I'm going to share with you. And you know what is more powerful than an experience than a truth to you, right? Because people will talk a lot of stuff, but until you can experience it, and then you can say, damn, that guy experienced it, so damn, if he experienced it, something must be true about it, right? So my experience with that is I do believe that we are here for a purpose, and the for is to actually collective consciousness, or we're here to help people in some way. That's why we're here. And how I found that out for me was because when I started this, I didn't start doing what I wanted to do. I started doing what I think I should be doing. You know, of course, I was a chef, executive chef, sous chef, and I thought that's what I wanted to do. But then I started to get downloads. I told you one night I woke up. It was like, I couldn't describe it as a headache, but I was getting so much information, and my whole life started to change. I started to get these trippy experiences, numbers, and that led me to winning the lottery, to teaching, to mentoring people, and then creating platforms to show people. All these things started down. There was no way that was a part of my plan when I didn't think. So what I'm saying is, I think what happens is when we get here, we have amnesia. It's like we forget ourselves, and as we progress through our life, everything that happens in your life is a teaching moment to help you to become who you truly are. Then what happens is your higher self wakes you up at a certain point. It's like activating you and says, all right, it's time for you to start doing your thing. And that's how you get these downloads. That's my experience. Because there's no way I would have known all this stuff. If you told me when I started, I looked back and said, you'd be doing this, I was like, no way. So that gave me clear evidence that, whoa, yeah, we're definitely here. And we definitely forget. I think what happens is when you come here, we initiate amnesia. Because the soul knows the whole, like your higher self knows the whole purpose thing. But when you get here, it's going to give you amnesia so that you can need to know. If you come here, you know everything already, you know what you got, your purpose, then life and the meaning and experience wouldn't be good. You wouldn't learn. You would be like, man, you know, I can't learn anything, get boring. So, and that's why the ego develops. That's why we have an ego. The ego is that mind part that keeps us in the box. Remember, the ego doesn't have no idea what's going on. So that's my take on it, right? Great to see you guys. So yeah, we're definitely here. So what are we supposed to ask instead of how and when? You're not supposed to ask anything. Whenever you want to create something, a goal or a dream, or you're manifesting something, your goal and dream is already created from the minute you see it in your head, or you wrote it down, or you script it. If you're writing something down in a present moment, or if you're visualizing something and see it in your head, you're actually seeing something in what we call a future, but yet it's the present. It's just a different coordinate. So if you see something, it's already done. So first thing you have to know is that your brain doesn't think information as language, verbiage. It processes information as images. When you think of something, you don't think in words. You think in game. Okay, you don't think in words, you think in image. Think about that. So we made up language to describe certain things. So for example, the how and the when in a language term is something you want to stay away from, because it's going to initiate your ego mind. You know, your ego wants to help you guys, but the thing is just limited, right? Yep, it's thinking in symbols, pictures, things like that. When you think of something or thought, you know, for example, today you say, okay, I got to think what I'm going to do tomorrow. So when you're thinking what you're doing tomorrow, what do you see in your head? Do you see words? Do you see the words, I am doing something tomorrow, T-O-M-M? No, you don't see that. You see images or symbols of you doing, taking action, going somewhere. That's how pixels, that's how we decode the stuff. So to answer your question, you stay away from how and when, because and you don't have to ask anything. Matter of fact, you command the universe. When you see something in your mind, it's actually like a command. It's already done. Now, what you should do is, the only thing you should do is you just be in an expectant mode. Just expect it to happen. And people get confused what expectation means, you know. When you expect something, there is no time in expecting. Did you know that, right? Developing the art of expectation eradicates time. Expectation goes in the realm of faith now, because you just know it's going to happen. Right? What to do when the ego keeps us in a victim state? Yeah, you don't want to be in a victim state. When you're in a victim state, you're definitely out of your creative mindset. Let me show you something. When you're a victim, the power is in someone else. The power is in the system. It's in the matrix. It's in your teacher, your boss, your job, your world, your family, your friends. You're a victim. Don't do that. So to get out of the victim state is first to understand what a victim is. Because if you don't know what a victim is, you're in it. You can't get out of it. So a victim is given power or blame to external situations. A victim is feeling sorry for yourself. A victim is blaming external situations on why you can't succeed. It's putting the blame on them, him, her, it. That's a victim. A victim is taking the pressure from you and throwing it to someone else. Oh, it's okay, man. You know, it's not my fault. It's the reason that happened. I'm just not good enough. People just do this to me all the time. I can't help it if I'm this way. That's just who I am. Those are victim statements. You got to watch out for those trigger words. They mean you're a victim. Are you a religious man? I'll get to that in a second. So to get out of the victim state, once you recognize you're a victim, now here's how you get out of it. You got to have the realization that, wait a minute, all the answers that I want or whatever I desire, it's really in me and it's really in you. And we're going to go into religion at this point too. And it's really in you, because now that takes me into religion. I grew up in religion, Christian, and I knew the Bible. I mean, all the books of the Bible. Now, what I discovered is that the religion thing, Christianity now, really limits your ability to be yourself. You see, it puts this external source on some God. Now, I do believe in a God, but not the God that many people think of. I believe God is more of a consciousness, an intelligent awareness that is fractal in all of us, and it experiences and lives itself through each person. That's why I call it the God power, the God force. It's in each of us. It's a fractal for you, for me, and then if you know how to go into yourself, then you are the answer, because God is talking to you. Christianity now, what they do is they take that out of you, and they separate you from yourself. Yeah, God is within you, and they put God as an external source. And not only to put God as external source, they give God a human personality. Right? Check that out. They give God a human personality. What's a human personality? A human personality is a jealous God, a judgmental God. That's human personality. We made that up. God isn't like that. So if you don't do this, you're going to go to here or there. You don't do that, you're going to go to heaven or hell, which is all made up, again, if you know the truth. So I am more of a spiritual person. I know now what God is, the energy of God, and I've seen it in my own life. Right? Now the Bible has some good stuff in there. There's good stuff, but also the Bible is a lot of stories too, guys. The Bible is a lot of symbolism, metaphors. You got to remember that as well. I found that religion have program of the collective. Yep. Now, you know, a lot of people are going to be shocked for there's a paradigm shift coming in now. There's a big paradigm shift. But let me go back to answering the question about the ego, and I'm going to show you a paradigm shift about religion and God and how things are changing. And this is something you need to know, because they're not going to tell you this. So to get out of victim state is to understand, to accept that responsibility for what's happening in your life. Don't blame on anybody else. So ask yourself, how can we fix this? Focus on you, and now you'll start, the answers will start to come to you, and then you know that, okay, there's no one coming to save me but me, so I got to go save myself. That's how you're going to get out of victim role. Now let's get back into this religion thing now to show you something deep that you may want to understand here. Now they just launched this telescope here. It's called the James Webb telescope. It took 25 years in the making. This telescope now is going to be activated within the next 6 months. It's a big thing in human achievement, because with this telescope, they can actually now see different galaxies. Not only galaxies, they can actually see the chemical compounds of planets and atmospheres. And as you know, our galaxy, the Milky Way, has billions of host stars. With these stars, billions of planets. The Earth started the same way. Remember, everything is a fractal pattern. So if we evolve the same way, naturally other galaxies must evolve the same way. So now they are 100% sure within the next 10 to 15 years, they will find host planets that will give off chemical signatures of life. That puts religion in a huge bind, Christian religion now. So what happens now, NASA has actually hired a priest to prepare the church for a paradigm shift. So when we encounter life. So you can see how religion now is trying to play things to fix it. Now, how are they going to fix that? Well, they probably try to find something in the Bible that, well, this is what this verse meant. It meant that. But you know, the Bible says, according to religion, that, oh, there is no other life form. It's just human beings and da-da-da. Now when they find other life forms, what they're going to do, that's why they hired a priest. They hired a priest now to prepare people, the religious people, for what's going to come. James Webb Telescope. It's going to be a paradigm shift for all of you out there. I innately knew all this, though. The minute I found out what religion was, I already knew what was happening because I had experienced this stuff. Yeah. So prepare for that. They hired a priest because now they're going to get ready to unveil some paradigm shift and stuff about other life forms, right? And you need to know that. Okay. So the thing is, when you're going to manifest a breakthrough, or you want to manifest something, you have to be in a certain state to have that, right? So think about that. What state do you have to be in to get what you want? Yeah, the James Webb is a telescope, not a microscope. What state do you have to be in to manifest stuff? You have to be in a state. You have to be in the flow state, guys. The flow state is more like a theta state. It's actually theta and merged like with a delta state. You can produce the flow state. The flow state is produced by developing these emotions or these type of feelings, which is being in a state of peace and neutrality at more often. If you can develop peace and neutrality a lot, you automatically enter the flow state. Flow state is someone who just doesn't, nothing can affect them. They never get too high, they never get too low. Their motto is, it is what it is, and then they just move on and they do what they have to do. That's the flow state. If you can develop that mindset, you'll be able to manifest, achieve anything in your dreams easily. Heaven exists is our final destination. We reunite with loved ones. That one, I'll leave that one up for debate. Manifesting is constantly wishing for what the ego wants. Prayer is bonding a God, leave it to him. So we have, who's this here? This is Nirvana 777. All right, so I want to teach you something, Nirvana 777, and I want to show you the point about what religion can do to you. You made a very profound statement here. You said manifesting is constantly wishing for what the ego wants. Prayer is bonding a/God, leave it to him. So I want to ask you a question here. Leave it to him. So who is him, or who is God? What are you leaving to? Are we talking to an external source outside of you, or are we talking about the God force in you? I just want to make sure here. So whenever you can answer that. Right. I manifesting now. It took years to do. Yeah, you always manifesting now. Years are something human beings made up. Years don't exist. Cycles, I like to call them, but there's no such thing as a year. We made that up. A day's made up. Everything is made up. It's human concept. 365 is the cycle that we go around. So it's all made up. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is names and days from Greek things. The hour, 2 hours, all that, minutes, 60 seconds, it's all made up. It's just human needs. We develop calculations to make our life simpler. So I don't even look at things in years anymore. I just look at cycles or experiences, right? The year, actually, years, if you start to look at things in time, it actually goes against you, man. It actually goes with your ego, and it puts you in a lot of resistance. Yeah, the term God is made up too. I like, just to make sense of it, I would say God, but you know what I mean. You call it source energy, consciousness energy, whatever it is. But it's a human thing. Because you got to think about this. And then they discover, and this is true. They discovered tribes, guys, that indigenous people, Amazon, certain parts of South America, that never had contact with the outside world. They never heard about Christianity, never heard about God, never heard about anything. But all of them had one thing in common. They had this innate ability to know that there's something in them that creates the outside world. How did they know that? No one taught them that. Because that's your innate truth. That's who you truly are. When you come into the world, you're programmed. You're programmed through society. You're really programmed through religion. You're programmed what to think, how to act, what to do. All these things are programmed. Reality is a run through your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind runs with programs on a repetitive basis. So if someone can explain to me this, how can you go to a tribe that has no outside, but they knew inside that they were the answers? When they prayed inside. They didn't pray to like the Christian God or all that stuff. That you have to think big. You have to think bigger picture, right? See what I'm saying? You have to think big picture. And that's what I want you to understand. Yeah, you should work. Don't look at things as years, or just look at things as cycles, make it a lot easier, or just look at things as moments in moments. It's really, really going to take a lot of it out. What is it? Luke 17:21, King James Version. The kingdom of God is within you. Right. As I said, the Bible has some inspired things. This is who's here moving. So we have some enlightened people here explaining some knowledge. Someone's helping Nirvana Dream 77. Satan isn't a person, it's an energy. Here you go. Time is an illusion. Time is not linear. That's correct. So someone says, Nirvana says, God speaks to us, our conscious, unfortunately, does the devil master the thing. That thing you have to understand is, there's one thing that we must learn, is that we create our world based on ideas implanted in our heads. And based on these ideas, they create a perception. Based on the perception, it affects your subconscious. Your subconscious is illogical, so now your subconscious will take an idea or a perception and it will form your reality. Think about that. So what does that mean? Each person is experiencing their own unique individual micro-universe. So what you believe is what you believe. You may get evidence to show you what you believe. What you don't believe, you get evidence to show you that it doesn't believe. That's the world we live in. That's the universe we live in. If you understand that, that's very deep what I just said. So listen to it over again. All right? How do you pray? Yeah, I pray totally different now. I pray totally different. You know, I said this before in a few lives, and I'll put this to you guys again. I want to ask all of you guys this question here, and then you can answer it. I said this. I said, there are trillions, not billions, trillions of prayers that are going up every single day. And I'm sure a lot of those prayers are asking to change the world, to make peace, to stop hunger, to stop violence. Trillions go up every day. Yet, listen, yet the world is still the same. Nothing's changing. So answer me this question. Is God on a break? Is God not listening? Or are these people praying the wrong way? Because you can't be sending trillions of prayers up, bro. And somebody's not answering because the world's still the same. So there's either two things I have to deduce from this. Number one, either I'm doing it the wrong way, or number two, there isn't a God that they made up that's sitting on a throne and listening, taking calls or taking requests like they're showing you, because it ain't working. It's not working. I just showed you evidence. Everybody prays every day. So, what is prayer then? Prayer, someone says, is sort of a meditation. It's kind of. So when I pray within myself, knowing that the God consciousness and the entire universe is listening to my vibration. I don't pray in a state of need or desperation or fear or anxiousness, as a lot of prayers do. When people pray, they pray out of fear, they pray out of hopelessness. Otherwise they wouldn't be praying, because they want to hope. So they're trying to create hope out of hopelessness, and they pray with a lot of lack. Therefore, when the vibration goes out to the universe is going to give them more of the same thing. Hunger. What else is it going to give them? War. All this stuff is going to continue. That's why these things don't change, guys, because it's a vibration. God is neutral. It's an energy. It just gives you based on the frequency. If you want abundance. If you want lack. And a lot of people are programmed, unfortunately, with lack. So that's right. Somebody says that we perpetuate a desperate cycle through religious prayer. This is why I say to you, trillions of prayer goes up to the world, nothing changed. The reason why nothing changed is because the vibration they're giving off is maintaining the same frequency. See how it works? So keep that in mind. Prayer is a relationship with your Creator. Satan has you distracted with alternate beliefs. So, you know, if someone wants to make a comment, then I expect them to know some stuff here. So can you describe, this is who, Nirvana 77, can you describe my Creator? And can you give me proof of my Creator? What is his name? How did you know that? Did you know that innately, or did religion teach you that? Did the Bible teach you that? Do you have any evidence of this? Do you even know how humans are created? Do you know the cellular level of how biology, how things are? Do you know any of this stuff? Because if you do, then we can have a great discussion. But if you don't, please, ignorance. Until you can answer me those questions, I'll take you seriously. All right. And I'll help you here. Your answer is the proof is all around you. Okay, brilliant. Where's the brilliant answer? Oh my goodness, the proof is all around me. All right, you proved my point. Next. All right, what are your thoughts on spirits and ancestors? Yes, spirits and ancestors, because a human being, energy can never be created or destroyed, first law of thermodynamics. So therefore, when you go or leave, the energy comes from in some place. All right? The creator is a mathematician. That's a good question. In what name do you pray? I don't pray in any names. Because there's the name, you don't have to use a name to pray, man. A prayer is a connection through your heart to the reverberation of yourself, part of that God consciousness, and it comes to you. That's another thing that you have to unlearn. I keep showing you guys, you must unlearn what you've learned. Because I'll say this, and some people may get offended, but I'm gonna show you the truth here. Religion is a business, like a corporation. It's an agenda. Religion is a business. You know what a business is? A business has quota, has to make money, has profits, it has representatives, has CEOs, priests, all these. That's what religion is, people. Religion affects your subconscious. They notice. You know what? A priest said this. I was watching an interview on the Vatican many years ago. They took it off. You probably won't find it on Google. I was asking the priest in the Vatican, and he says, give me any kid before they're 7 years old, and they will become a Christian for the rest of their life. And the interviewer asked the priest, he said, how are you so confident? You know what the priest said? He said, because kids are in a subconscious state, and if we get our ideology in their minds, it'll stay with them for a lifetime. They knew about the subconscious mind before you even knew it. They knew all about the critical divide. You know what else the priest said? He said this. He said, the Vatican created hell or heaven to keep members in line. It was invented. If you really want to get technical, the Bible says hell is called Sheol, which is Hades in Greek terms. It means man's common grave. So if you want to get technical on religion in the Bible, I can get technical on religion in the Bible with you to show you that a lot of stuff was created to control you. But again, people will develop confirmation bias. And look, you cannot change someone's belief, guys. You can only give them information and let them decipher it. Because when someone is indoctrinated, it takes the higher self to open them up. I was indoctrinated. It took my higher self to wake me up. And so I know when people talk about religion, how they pretend and how they swear by God and all that stuff. I was one of those persons that was doing that stuff. So I can feel when people come on here and talk about, oh, come on, God, because I was the one doing that. I was that person that was defending a character, a name, a person. That wasn't even me. I was like, what the hell am I doing? You know, once I broke free, I'm going to show you something deep. Once I broke free from religion, Christian religion, I had more empathy. I had more love. I had more consideration. I view people the same. I was like, whoa, religion teaches you to put people in classes. Sinner, non-sinner, not good, no good. It teaches you to judge people. What kind of God or what kind of person would want you to do that? The spirituality doesn't do that. That's what religion does. So you guys have to wake up. All right. Can I hear how you pray? I don't know. I mean, all right. Let me show you how. Let me show you how you pray, guys. Let me show you how to pray. All right. And this is something you have to unlearn. So you have been taught. Check this out. you've automatically been programmed to look at authority figure as bigger, and then you're more like lower. So when it comes to like praying to like this God or whatever, you're automatically going to enter a stage of like the lowest person. So most people, when they pray like this. God, can you please help me? God, can you please fix this situation? I know I'm not deserving. I'm a sinner. Forgive me of my sin. God, give me the strength to overcome this. If it's your will, God, make it be done. God, that's how most people pray. Correct? All right. When you pray that way, you're going to get the same thing. Nothing's going to change. Because the vibration you're giving off is that same thing. So this is how you pray. You pray in this way. You pray as if you're talking or you're commanding to a part or this consciousness or this being that's a part of you, like your father. If you go to your father, do you go to your father and be like, can I please, if your father, hey dad, this is what I'd like. Is it possible? All right, son, yeah, I can do that to you. Yeah. That's how you pray. You pray like that. You pray like you're talking to someone, like you say, look, hey, show me how to do this. Hey, what's the best way to help this done? I would like this to be fixed. Can you help me to do that? What's the best way to get what I want? Give me a sign to let me know this. Hey, help me to overcome this to get that. See that? I go and I ask, I command what I want. I don't ask for strength to deal with it. If I want to go across the mountain, I don't ask for strength to help me to go. I say, I want to go over the mountain. Most people are conditioned or indoctrinated in that way. So you see, they can't see their own power. And what happens is it takes your power away from you now, because you become this person that you can't believe in yourself. And then you got to look to your pastor or your preacher to tell you like what you're good at or what you can't do. You're not taught to rely on yourself, man. Right? The spiritual realm goes way deeper than just consciousness, ego, and the matrix. I agree that spiritual realm goes a lot deeper than that, but we're just not able to comprehend it there, because there's infinite parts. And who's this here? Cassidy. Yes, we are all gods. That's correct. That's how it works. Now, guys, look, I'm talking to you based on my experience here. So if it resonates, fine. If it doesn't, that's fine. But I'm speaking to you what I've experienced with religion, Christianity, and where I'm at today. So I'm someone who has a unique perspective of this, because I've been there and done that. It's like talking to someone. If you're going to talk to someone, if you go to a mechanic, right? This guy knows how to fix your car, because that's what he does. If you go to someone who's not a mechanic and ask him how to fix your car and what this part is, he can't tell you all that stuff. He can tell you what he's seen on TV or what he heard. Well, man, it might be your starter. Well, that's sound. It could be this. Well, let me go to Google. See, but if you go to a mechanic knows. See, so I'm talking to you because I was in church. I grew up. I was heavily in the Bible. I went from Christianity, then I went to become a Jehovah's Witness. Then I went back. So I was all over. I was there, man. And then I got my awakening. So I have a unique perspective and perception of religion versus spirituality that a lot of people don't have. So I am giving you my summarization, and I'm giving you my experience of what happened when I found out that the God power is within me. That's what I'm saying. Okay? Interesting. I've been there too. Good to hear it out of someone else's mouth. Yes, the thing with religion, guys, and it plays on the mind. And see, when you learn about the mind and the subconscious, how powerful it is, your mind can be brilliant, but your mind can be a prisoner. It can trap you, man, and it can create what they call cognitive dissonance. And a very smart people are psychologists, and that's why a lot of religions they become cults. A lot of religions are cult-like, because what happens is they get the mind. They don't get you. They get your consciousness. They get your mind. Once they get your mind, then you create cognitive dissonance, which is very difficult for you to see the truth, because you've been inundated with so much perception about your world. The only way someone can see the truth is if they have been chosen by their higher self. Okay, it's time for you to wake up. Come on, it's time for you to do this. What makes religion so dangerous? In one word, what makes religion so dangerous, guys, is one word. It makes you a victim. It makes you a victim. It makes you rely on external sources. It feeds you an identity. It feeds you an illusion of something that doesn't really exist. What's going to happen when this James Webb telescope come back and they find other life forms? What is going to happen to religion? What's going to happen to the Christians in the Bible? How are they going to explain that? Because in order for them to explain that, I'm going to show what the Bible says. It says Jesus died on the cross for every sinner. So how are they going to fix that? Are they going to come back and rechange the Bible and says, that means now Jesus had to go die on the cross on every planet that had life? Because that's what the Bible says. Are they going to come back and say that? They're going to say, oh, well, yeah, Jesus had to go to the parallel worlds. So every planet that exists, Jesus had to die on there. How are they going to explain that? I'm just showing you a big picture here, because that's what the Bible says. There's only the human race. He made God in his image. Okay, now what happens when you see different life forms? How are you going to explain that? That's why NASA hired the priests. Because you got to get the story right. Because when they go out, they got to go out and the business got to run, man. The business got to keep its members. A lot of people are being trapped by religion. But I don't want to make this a religion thing. I want to make this more about you creating and manifesting and using your mind and power. I mean, religion is a part of it. But I'm just giving you different perspective of all of this. Because if you think about the one I just said, and I asked this before to a preacher, right? A priest, was a preacher or something. I remember asking the preacher, when I started to discover physics, biology, neuroscience, which are things that you can prove systematically over and over again, right? You have experiments, you have theories, you can see them in the lab and you can see them working. And I asked the preacher one time, I'll never forget that, and I said, what if there's like other beings, or what if there's other life forms? And you know what, he told me this, and it was so ridiculous, Matsy. He says, well, Mark, it means Jesus had to die. So he said, Jesus died on the cross for all of us. And I said, so does that mean Jesus had to die on the cross for like every planet? He says, yeah. That's what he told me. He said, yeah. He said, Jesus had to go to like all the billions and trillions of galaxies and died for them. See that? So that's what you got to think about. So yeah, you got to understand the bigger picture, right? So the big picture is to understand that really the power is within you. It's not outside of you that you've been conditioned to believe. There's a lot of people here that will think outside of themselves, but you got to really, guys, the real power really resides in you. There's no one else outside. If you can go inside of you basically means what is the story you're telling yourself? What is the mental image you have of yourself, right? Yeah, if you panic a lot with heartbeats, anxiety, usually means like a lot of deep emotional stuff. So what you want to do is to overcome that. It's really good practice to meditate. Meditation is the best thing that will help you to start that. Yep, someone says here, once you learn the power, you will shock yourself, and that is 100% correct. That once you learn the power, you will shock yourself. What about Jesus walking on water as a symbol of faith? I'll leave that one up to debate too. It's not about religion, it's about being one with God in you. Listen, right, I agree with that. Reverend Ike is good as that too. Yeah, God is actually within you. It's a part of you, guys. It's, the same elements in your blood. I said this before. The iron that is running through your blood came from a exploding supernova billions of years before the Milky Way galaxy began, before life became into you. So that means that star that exploded, the iron, and they can track it. The iron in your blood came from an exploding star before the Earth was ever created. It's in you. So that means you were a part of the universe before you became a human being or before it became a physical. So that means you are one with everything. Let that sink in. Someone answered your question about Jesus. It says, Jesus walking on water. It said the story was a parable to teach faith. There's your answer. So someone asked about Jesus walking on water. I'm experiencing it now, right? So yeah, I was talking about, so if you want to use what we call this, law of attraction, people call it all types of names, law of assumption, whatever, positive thinking, you get what you think. All of it ties down to a story, because what you got to ask yourself this question, guys. What story are you telling yourself? Because we all have stories in our head. You know what a story is? A story is an identity or an idea of the concept we believe ourselves to be, and is driven by our ego. Stories are also driven by other people's opinions, and we form stories in our head. So a story could be, I'm good at this, but I'm not good at that. I'm not good at love. I'm good at making more money. I'm not good at relationships. I'm good at relationships, but I'm not good at making money. These are stories you tell yourself. I'm really good at getting this, but I can't get that. I'm just not talented, but I can work hard. I'm not good with relationship. I'm not good with men. I'm not good with women, but I'm good with people. These are stories, right? And these stories, they actually go into your subconscious mind, and they actually prove the very things that you're saying to come true. That's why you continue to do them, because you see evidence of them. You say like, see, I told you, I'm just not good at that. See, I told you, it always happens like that. And you believe them. See that? That's a cycle you don't want to be into, because then you create limitations for yourself. So the question is, all right, Mark, how can I change my story then? Right? Story could be with health. You can say, oh man, it's just my depression, just my knees. My knees always ache. I'm always tired easily. I was born this way. My mom told me I had that. It's in my family. I just can't, my brother had it, so I think I have it. These are stories, man. And these stories become true because the cells in your body, your subconscious is in all your cells, by the way. The trillions of cells you have, your subconscious resides in those cells. And it communicates to you and informs what you tell it. Stories are your limiting beliefs. So the question is, how do I change my story? The first answer to help you is to understand that you are a story. You're telling a story. So you got to understand what I just said to you, that, okay, damn, this guy's right. I have been seeing stories. Damn, he's right. I mean, because all of you have. You've been thinking the same thing I'm thinking. Like, man, this guy is telling me, I do be thinking I'm like that. So my limits and my things are just a perception of my story. So once you realize that, it's very simple. You can tell a new story. Just flip the opposite. You can say, what you can say here. Let me give you a good example. You can basically say, if your story is like, oh, I'm not good with relationships, you can change the story. You know what? I'm really good with relationships. I'm really good with money. I'm really healthy. I get so much energy so easily. That story, when you repeat it over and over in your head as a mentality, it's going to start now to become an image in your subconscious. And once it becomes in your subconscious now, the story is going to start to become your reality. So all you got to do is reverse engineer or flip it backwards, and you change your story. Voila. People call it emotional mapping, emotional changing, but it's really that simple. And the reason it works that simply is because of the illogical state of your subconscious. It's illogical. Can anyone tell me, what does it mean when I say the subconscious is illogical? When I say your conscious mind is logical, can anyone give me an example when I say what the subconscious is illogical? Because I think a lot of people may be on this live and they don't know, so we can help. So what does it mean, illogical versus logical mind? When I say your subconscious is illogical, what am I speaking about? Perfect here. Someone got it. What was this? Remedy, it says it doesn't know it's good or bad or right or wrong. That's correct. Your subconscious has no way to decipher good or bad, real or imagined. So whatever you see consistently, whether it's an image in a story, it simply believes it. That's correct. It's simply acting on it. It believes everything you tell it. That's also correct. Miss Kersey, right? That's it. Illogical means not thinking for yourself. It's a mind of, your subconscious is a mind of actions, habits, feelings. Yep. So once you change your story, then your reality changes. So I want to ask you another question. So why does it work that way? So why? Because this is about the subconscious now. There's something you have to know about the subconscious. So why, if I just simply change the way I see myself in my head, will it change my physical reality? Can someone tell me the answer to that? Why is it when I see something in my head, it actually becomes my physical world somewhere down the line? Anyone know the answer to that? I mean, you experienced it before. We all experience, we visualize something that comes to pass, but still want to know the science behind it. Can anyone answer me that? Reticular activation system. Well, the reticular activation system in the brain, it processes it. It sends it